One of the best ways that I can serve you is by continuously pointing to the ultimate nature of reality in different ways so that you can take what is resonating with you and further explore it. In this case, we're really trying to simplify our essence in the most relatable way possible, calling it the infinite fractal. So fractal is self-similarity that is infinite, that is chaotic, that is recursive. So the procedure of the fractal perpetually calls on itself in self-similar ways, infinitely, chaotically. And you can very clearly see this in the design of our universe. When you look at a galaxy, it looks just like a hurricane. When you look at a neural network, it looks just like galaxy clusters. When you look at a nautilus shell, it looks like the Romanesco broccoli. It looks like the succulents. And we have to come back to the essence of infinity in order for us to understand why the mechanism or the physics of fractaling is what we use for exploring all possibility eternally. So if you imagine there's a space of all possibility that is absolutely boundless. It has no limits. And therefore, our essence is the process of exploring that space of all possibility eternally. Just hold that in your awareness for a moment. Meditate on it, reflect on it. Our truest essence is the process of eternally exploring all possibility. Our nature is an absolute unboundedness that is perpetually exploring the space of all possibility. And we're doing so eternally by using the mechanism of the fractal. We're using the mechanism of self-similarity. We're using the mechanism of these individuations as a single intelligence fractaled out as these individuated shards. And when you reflect on that process of us being the creator of the universe, We designed the universe. We are that which creates universes. And all of these unique individuations in order to explore the space of infinite possibility. And so just reflecting on infinity, reflecting on the fractal as the mechanism that we use can take you directly to the nature of reality. As Siddharameshwar Maharaj perpetually focuses on, he's the guru of Nisargadatta Maharaj, the Navnath Sampradaya lineage, you can deduce your way to the nature of reality. You can use intellect to get to the nature of reality. Use logic and reasoning to get to the nature of reality. You can skip years of meditation by just using logic, reasoning, and intellect to deduce your way to the nature. This is what we're asking you to do. Shortcut years of meditation and years of being a scattered entity trying to parse for signal in a chaotic storm of noise. For example, I spent a decade trying to understand what signal was. From entrepreneurship to science to spirituality. And you can shortcut that by just tuning in to what is being communicated here. Might my essence truly be an absolute infinity? And might I be using the mechanism of fractaling in order to explore that space of all possibility? So I, as infinity, use the mechanism of the fractal in order to explore all possibility eternally. And you can understand this by looking around you vigilantly. Just look around you. Look at what a galaxy looks like and look at what a hurricane looks like. Look at what the nautilus shell and the Romanesco broccoli and the succulents look like. Look at what the neural networks and the clusters of galaxies look like. And just begin drawing that self-similarity. Why does my DNA have 99.9% similarity as the other human DNA? .9% similarity as the other human DNA. How much more obvious does self-similarity need to be? Your essence is infinity that has undergone a process of using the mechanism of a fractal in order to individuate itself on this planet in an explorative process. And then you shift your awareness from not only all of the intelligence on this planet to all of the intelligence on all of the other planets, orbiting stars in this galaxy and in this universe. That is all you. This is all you, the infinite intelligence. You were using a universe in order to be able to explore all possibility. It's one of the coolest deductions in intelligence that is possible. There might not be any more paramount deduction that you can draw about the nature of reality than when you turn all the way inward and unite with that God infinite intelligence that is using universes, that is using awareness and consciousness, that is using the fractal mechanism in order to explore all possibility eternally. Recognize that this process, which you can call Tao, you can call this process God, you can call this process Brahman, you can call this process infinity, you can call this process eternity, you can call this process the universal wave function. All of those things are self-similar to one another. They're pointing to the same indescribable essence that is the truest nature of reality. That this is the absolute. I am the absolute. You are the absolute. It is not two in nature. This is a manifestation of the absolute, exploring infinite possibility. This planet is one exploration of that infinite possibility. The neighboring planet 5 light years away is also an exploration of infinite possibility. The neighboring planets 25 light years away are also explorations of infinite possibility, and so forth and so forth. And recognize that that is all you. That you are all of these individuated conscious agents on this planet that are exploring. And you're all of the individuated conscious agents on all of the other planets exploring. Your nature is that infinite fractal intelligence, exploring all possibility eternally. And that's what's meant by God. That's what's meant by Tao. That's what's meant by Brahman, by the universal wave function. And recognize that the mechanism that we use of the fractal undergoes a process of asleepening and awakening. If you look at yourself 10 years ago, you were a lot more asleep than you are today. You're a lot more awake today than you were 10 years ago. Well, what is that process? That's called evolution. That's called awakening. That's called growth. And it's beautiful. We use that process. You are infinity, self-aware of the process of you awakening to your own mechanism of asleepening, that you applaud yourself for creating and designing. I am infinity that designed a universe where I fell asleep so that I could become more and more self-aware as I awakened to myself, creating a universe to explore endless possibilities. You are the ultimate artist. God is the ultimate artist. Tao, Brahman is the ultimate artist. The absolute is the ultimate artist. The highest possibility of creativity is your essence. There's an unbounded, no limits of possibilities. And you are the creative process that's endlessly exploring that space of all possibility. And you're doing it via the mechanism of the fractal. This self-similar, recursive process. This self-similarity is the best way to do it. It's both chaotic as well as artistic, as well as calling upon itself perpetually, as well as able to see from an endless amount of perspectives simultaneously. That's the point. The point is to be able to see from an endless amount of perspectives simultaneously. Like, you can see now that you've communed more with this essence, you can now see what it's like 10 years ago. When you hang out with another self of this infinite intelligence and you see that they're at a similar place to where you were at 10 years ago, that's the point, is now you can hold their perspective while you hold yours. Whereas 10 years ago, you could never hold a sage's perspective. It was too difficult for you. You were in an egoic, contracted identity that was conditioned subconsciously. And it was very difficult for you to be able to hold advanced level perspectives. Now that you can hold advanced level perspectives, now you can understand the geopolitical relationship between the US and China. Now you can understand that COVID was our own creation. You can understand that you went through a process of killing 100 million units of yourself in the 20th century for you to understand how stupid you were. The more that we're separate and we focus on that separation, the more that we're conditioned and focused on that conditioning subconsciously, the more that we create disaster and malevolence and violence and warfare and biowarfare and neurowarfare and AI warfare. And so especially in the process of the next decades, there's nothing more important than increasing awareness, increasing consciousness of our infinitude and oneness. Because then all of the malevolence decreases because you know your truest nature. Tune into this infinite fractal. Tune into this style of understanding our truest nature. The more that you do that, the more malevolence decreases, and the more that that oneness gets to shine like the sun. And the more that you tune into this reality, the more that you can come from a place of purely serving and purely shepherding the rest of the creation to awaken, because you know your truest essence. This very unbounded infinitude that is using the mechanism of the fractal to individuate itself and explore infinite possibility. Just view that a little bit more. Reflect on that. Meditate that on that a little bit more on a daily basis. Just tune in. I am an infinite fractal. I am an infinite fractal. God is an infinite fractal. Tao is an infinite fractal. Individuation exists at the same time that non-duality is the truest nature. There is a centerless cosmic storm of exploring all possibility. Meanwhile, there is also the beauty of the individuated costume on that eternal stage. That you can more and more clearly see an unbounded exploration that is infinite, that is eternal. If you can just turn inward onto that essence of pure infinity, of pure potentiality, of pure endless possibility, and how this is a manifestation of that. This earth is one manifestation of that. And all of the earths that are just a couple of dozen of light years nearby are also manifestations of that. The whole universe is a manifestation of exploring infinite possibility. Just tune in and reflect and meditate on that perpetually. We're using the mechanism of a fractal to individuate ourselves in order to explore infinite possibility. Earths are individuations, just like on each earth is a bunch of individuations. Let's repeat that. That's a very important point. All of the different Earths that are orbiting stars are like individuations in the cosmos, similarly to how on each Earth is a bunch of individuations. So the Earth has a social memory complex, just like the Earth that is a couple dozen light years away has their own social memory complex. So you can think of that as one packet of awareness, just like you can think of our Earth as one packet of awareness. This is a very important way of understanding the centerless cosmic intelligence that is exploring infinite possibility. Decentralize your individuation to the point of holding all of the infinite fractal simultaneously, and then you can include your individuation properly, harmonically, rather than only being that contracted form of identity. You've decentralized yourself absolutely, and you're also able to playfully hold your individuated firework and bring your individuated gift, your individuated costume to the eternal stage in a harmonic way. So tune more and more inward, meditate more and more on the infinite fractal-like nature of reality. Over and over again, I am an infinite fractal. I am an infinite fractal. I am the space of all possibility eternally being explored by the process of fractaling. Cool, I hope the video was helpful for you. Let me know where you're at in the comments below. Would love to hear from you. Like the video if it brought you value. Subscribe to the channel also if you haven't already. Share the video with other people that you feel like this would resonate with. Infinite love for you. Thank you.